Hey, everybody, welcome to the Funny Shrink Podcast. It is me and my co host, sidekick, Frank King, and we are coming at you live today. Frank is in his car
My mobile
because
studio.
he, mobile studio. I'm sorry, I should have specified. He's in his mobile studio because he's got places to go, people.
No, he's got no place to
Hopefully,
go. That's why he's in his mobile studio because we had to evacuate our house on Tuesday and we're still waiting to see if it burns to the ground.
that is really traumatic. You're on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, in Oregon, where there's, tens of thousands of people had to evacuate fires. And here's the worst part, Mike, is that not the worst part, but a worst part is we're supposed to refinance the mortgage and sign it next week. And I called my mortgage broker and said, hey, listen, if the mortgage broker doesn't ask, do I need to tell him if it's burned to the ground?
No, I would say keep that to yourself.
Yeah, there's no question on the disclosure form. Has your house burned down? So
So,
anyway.
Frank, I am really excited about our guest today. I met her a few months ago when we were on a writing project together for a Netflix comedy special.
Yeah.
And it sounds more impressive than it is, trust me. She is amazing. We write together and it just flows so easily and naturally. Her name is Kells the Comic, and when I told her about the podcast that it was for people who've been through trauma, she says, "I'm a black woman living in a white world. Of course, I've been through trauma." So let me bring her into the studio. Kells,
Oh my
awesome!
God.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up? You're an awesome
How are
introducer.
you? What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I said you're an awesome introducer.
Oh, thank you. I try. I got skills. So
What's
tell
going
us
on?
not much. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Um, like previously stated, I'm a black woman.
Thanks for clearing that
Also,
up, Kels.
no problem, no problem.
Well, I guess for
Uh,
people just listening, not watching, that would be important.
there we go. I am a black. I also am a comedian, and yeah, that's summing a lot up. I'm from Chicago, from the west side of Chicago. I am 34. I've been doing comedy for about a year and a half. It'll be two
Oh,
years
wow.
in, yeah, like April. Also, I've been doing it professionally for that long, but I like to say I've been a comedian my whole life.
That is the truth, girl.
So, are you living in New York now or New Jersey?
No, I'm in Chicago at the moment.
Oh, still in Chicago. Okay.
Yep, still in Chicago. I went to school in New Orleans for a bit, and then Katrina brought me back. So
Ah,
Wow.
yeah, so that's a little bit of trauma that I went through.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about your first time getting on stage.
Oh gosh. So the first time was it was at this open mic called My Buddies. It's up north in Chicago. It's a really dope place. And I I just wrote out a set. Like in my mind, I didn't think about like how long the set was, how like I really wanted to put it together. Like I wrote a bunch of words on a piece of paper and I was like, these words are funny. So now I'm gonna take these words and I'm gonna save these words and that's what I'm gonna do. So I like hyped it up to like my friends and family. I'm like, I'm gonna go to this open
oh
mic.
no,
I got this
Kels,
set.
no,
Guys, come on, come
no.
see me because like I want them to
Oh,
see that I have this crowd and like I
oh
got
God,
this sweatshirt made with like my name on it. I'm like so excited.
oh God,
So like
oh
right
God.
like on the way there, I'm thinking like maybe I should like time this. Maybe I should see how long this takes. And so like I'm going over it and then I'm thinking like this is also not an efficient way because I'm nervous. So am I going faster? Like I'm not factoring in anything in. Maybe you should have practiced this a little bit more. But I'm like, no, these words are funny. So I get there and each time I time it, it's like 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, kind of like in there. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, whatever. I get there and he goes, okay, guys, we have literally the most comics on this roster that we've ever had in our lives. It would have been 5 minutes, but now we're going to
Oh,
cut you down to 3 minutes.
oh
So
God.
get out there and be somebody. And this was my first time ever doing a set. So I was like, well, welcome to bombing. So I go up there and he like introduced me and he's like, oh, and she has a crowd here because I did. And I went up there and like the four biggest punchlines that I could remember, I said, and I was like, boom, boom, boom. And then I just went and sat down. And that was my first time.
You killed it.
You know, in my mind and in my heart, I killed it, but I don't know. No.
Well, and I have taught comedy off and on through the years, Kels, and
I'm sorry.
like I've taught comedy,
Oh, okay.
through the years, and one of those like 6 8 week classes where the graduation is you perform your 5 minutes. And I always tell people, new comics, look, don't invite anybody you know, especially family, for
Yeah.
like 6 8 weeks, because if you get up there and die, every
Yeah.
family reunion for the rest of your life, you're gonna be hearing about yeah, we
No,
saw that
like
time.
I went overboard. Like I invited friends from grammar school that I'd never seen in
Oh,
20 years. I was like, literally, if you've ever known me, meet me here. I'm doing something big. And then I was just like, yeah. I pretty much after that went straight to the bar and was like, keep them coming. Like we're gonna just,
well,
it was
were
horrible.
you invited back? I mean, was it a
Oh no, I was I was invited back, and I mean, it was a good foundation. Like, it taught me a lesson. You should time your sets. You should practice them more than twice, just because the words are funny. And yeah, it was a good foundation. Later on, like I perfected the set or whatever, and I liked it. But the first time was, the first time is never the best time.
well? One last question, because
Okay.
I can remember one joke from my first set ever. So, do you remember
hmm
any of those four punchlines that you delivered
Okay,
that
so
night?
from the from the first time I did this, I know the last one, the last thing I was talking about how I don't really believe in equality, I believe in equity. And so again, I didn't really practice this. I just pointed to a guy in the crowd and I was like, "Hey, you, what's your name?" And I think his name was Mike. And he's like, "Mike," and I'm like, "Yeah, so you, I think I'm probably better than you." And like the crowd was like, "Oh my God." And so like I finished my joke or whatever, and then I realized like maybe like seven comedians later that he's a comedian. And then he's like, "Well, now I got to make sure that I'm better than Kells." And I was just like, "Oh
Oh,
That's funny.
nice.
God." It's craziness. Yeah. So
That's funny. Do you still believe in equality?
Or equity.
so oh yeah,
Okay.
I believe in equity. I don't believe in equality. Equality is not a thing.
So, explain the difference, Kels.
Equity is you getting out of something what you put into something. Equality is this made up thing that two things that were created from two separate situations can possibly be the same thing. It's not a real thing.
Okay.
It's kind of like all millennials getting a participation award.
Yeah, like it's like why are we doing that? Because being 76th place is also being a loser. So
Yeah. And so what you're saying is you're into meritocracy, where you earn your stripes and you deliver your whatever.
I mean, yeah, I'm into like being able to prove things. Like, hey, I did this and therefore I got this from this. Not just like, hey, I am the same height as a person, so we should get paid the same amount, or we should, like let's make something concrete here. Like, I don't
I
think that everyone should get the same thing for just being something. That doesn't make sense.
I should talk because I was in the Special Olympics. Everybody gets an award. So I
I
beat a
mean,
guy on crutches. I'm proud of that fact.
and here's the thing. I think
I
everyone
was
should be proud. I think everyone should get a reward, just the reward that they deserve. Like the 76 trophy should not look like the first place trophy. It should be like, you know,
Yeah, a ribbon.
yeah, there we go. Or an email. Like either way, it just should not look like the first place
Or an
trophy.
email. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So where do you perform lately? Do you do any Zoom shows?
Okay. So when this whole corona thing first happened, I was like, corona, how long is this gonna happen? And then people
Ah,
were doing Zoom shows, and I was like, I'm not gonna do your Zoom show. That doesn't make any sense. I can't hear the people laugh doing a Zoom show. And then several months went past. and so and so like I don't know. Now I'm open to Zoom shows. Like I have a friend that we have a podcast, and we were like kind of talking about a Zoom show and things like that. Right now, I'm kind of just like content creating is what the cool millennials say, and trying to like just stay relevant on social media until I get to my next show. But it looks like a few places in Chicago are kind of like opening up. So I do have like a few open mics that I think I want to hit up probably next month with my can of Lysol.
so, what do you do for income? Do you have a straight job, Del?
Oh, okay. So like last year, Octoberish, I realized fuck working. And so, yeah. And so I decided to do like the comedy full time. In addition to that, I also like help people manage their social media,
Oh,
um, as well as I also do tarot. I'm a jack of all trades, and so
Hey,
I
girl.
get and so I get funds that way. Also, shout out to unemployment.
yeah,
And
baby.
yeah, so that's kind of how I'm surviving now. So I am not like throwing money in the bag, or anything like that, but I'm okay.
Have you got your tarot cards with you? Can you do a little reading for Mike? See how this podcast is going to turn out?
I can
Woo! I'm
totally
excited.
do.
I'm excited.
I can totally
I
do.
think we've had this conversation. I do tarot too. Of course,
Yes.
I don't do it as well as I did years ago because I don't. I lost my deck about 3 years ago, and I just never
What?
replaced it. Yeah. So I was going through a really rough breakup, and me and my current fiance, my future wife, moved me out of my ex's of where we were living in like a day and a half. I
Oh
left all
wow.
my books. All I had like a library of books, all
Oh my
gone.
lord!
Yep.
So are you just like a really mature person? Because I definitely would have sent the text message like, please give me back my shit. Like what?
My
Like, what?
my ex texted me once and he was like, listen, I found these important documents. Can we meet up? And the relationship was so toxic at that point. I was like,
Yeah,
thanks. If you could mail them to me, that would be great. I never heard from him again.
I
Actually,
get
that's
it.
not true. I reached out to him on his birthday and said happy
Aw,
birthday.
that was
But
nice.
it took me like 3 years to do that.
That
So
was really nice.
yeah.
My ex is blocked from literally everything.
You know what's weird is my mom still asks about him. My mom loved
Oh,
him.
moms.
My
Oh,
mom loves
mom.
my current, my future wife too, but it's just weird. Like I think my mom loves anyone I date just because she doesn't want me to come live at home.
My mom's the opposite. She's like, I don't like anyone you date, and also, please still don't come home. Like, just figure it out. But okay, I'll pull three oracle cards. How about that? We're gonna pull three
Sweet.
oracle calls. Okay,
Mhm.
about the podcast.
Yeah.
Sure. We'll do the
Okay,
podcast.
so the first card that popped out was Warrior Woman.
I am a warrior woman. Thank you.
No, but the message under that says, "Have you answered your deepest calling?" So oh, the second card that popped out was Lemuria, creating heaven on earth. It's happening. And
I love that song.
Okay. And the next two cards that popped out were boundaries and deep replenishment. So, just from what I see here, looks like you guys enjoy doing this. This may be fulfilling something for one or both of you by doing this, either creatively or um, with your career or something like that. And you guys are creating the type of podcast, the type of um, media that you guys would want to see. So, like your own type of thing, something that's not like anyone else. Because, of course, I haven't heard anything like that. And you guys have certain boundaries, of course, and or may need to work on kind of the exact frame.
Okay.
Whoa,
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
wow.
Yeah, she went really black.
But also, there's like a type of healing to this. Like this is supposed to be some type of either healing for you guys and or the guests and or the watchers, but it's
Yeah,
definitely supposed to be like a safe place, like something where everyone gets something out of the deal, I'm feeling like.
perfect.
That's what I got.
Sweet. Thank
I'm
you
here,
so
as you well know, Kells, because of a plea bargain, but I think Mike really enjoys it.
much. I I don't enjoy the actual business side of it. I enjoy just talking to people on the Facebook Live stuff. Like
Yeah,
the setting up the podcast, the making sure it's all done. Like I'm
I'm the
behind
same way.
so
I'm the exact same way. I don't like I'm the worst entrepreneur ever. If you ask me, so like I also sell like t-shirts and things like that. In real life, I just want to give it to you. I'm like, hey, no, it's free, but you have to charge, right? Because you have to live. And you can't like tell the energy company like, hey, no, it's okay. I don't charge for my stuff. So
yeah.
but it's horrible. I don't like the back end stuff of it either.
yeah, yeah. So we mentioned that you told me you were a black woman living in America. Of course, you've been through trauma. Tell us some of those traumas, if you will.
One thing that I always joke about, but it's like kind of fake traumatic for me. My first name is Mikkel, and it's spelled Micelle. It's like Michelle without the H.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Um, every job, every school, no matter where I go, the white people cannot pronounce it. It's always Michelle, Maselli, Michael. I've been Michael a few times. I've been
Um,
everything but Mikkel. The what got really crazy is when you email people and you email them and your email is Mikkel at company.com and they
mhm.
then type Michelle. Did you not see the spelling of my name? So like now you're blatantly disregarding like my name. And it was exhausting to say seven times in a meeting, no, Mikkel, Mikkel. No, it's Mikkel. Mikkel. But you can say like, I don't know, some other Irish name or like with perfection and like spell it with like all the accents, but like this name, this seven-letter name, we can't figure out somehow. That was exhausting and traumatic.
Well, but
Well,
Kells is easy to remember, easy to pronounce, and a good comic name.
And so and that what and literally was because I did not want to have to go through that throughout my whole career. Who's the comic? Michel, like what is it? Just call me Kells and we'll call it a day.
Well, and Kells, the only similar experience I have is being a Southerner. When I say king, people hear Kane. And so I got to where I spelled it. Hi, Frank
Oh.
King, King, and my friends started, I'd call somebody, hey, it's Frank King, King. Because I did it so often that it became a thing with my friends. Hey, Frank King, King.
I
Yeah.
get that with my I get that with my last
That's what
name a
my
lot.
friends do.
I get that with my last name a lot. Like
I can see
people
that.
the my favorite one is Mr. Kyoto. How did I become Japanese? Like I've
Yeah,
been.
yeah. Well, my wife said, "Kateo, what nationality is
Happy
that?" And I
Cuba.
go, "I think it's Japanese. I think it's."
It's my dad's from Cuba, so it's Cuban.
Cuban. Oh, okay.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Kels, can you hear us?
Um,
Can you guys hear me? Because I
Yeah.
can't
I
hear you.
I can we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Michelle? Michelle, can you hear us?
Mikel, she
I
just
know. That's why I
Hello?
was
oh,
doing that.
Oh, this is so bad.
We can hear you. Oh,
Okay.
she's mad now.
are you there? Can you hear us?
Can you hear
Uh-oh.
us, Mikhail?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. That was not in the cards.
I
Funny.
don't know what
Thank
happened.
you.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
I still can't hear you, but I know that you guys can hear me.
Yep.
That
Don't
is
know.
awesome, but also not awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Oh no, I genuinely don't. Should I leave and like come back?
Yes.
Okay, let's try that.
yeah.
Yep.
She's gonna
So,
leave and come.
Mike, I want to ask her just for my own edification, how you guys, her in Chicago, she in Chicago, you in New Jersey, got together to do the Netflix thing. How that
Oh,
happened?
we answered a Facebook ad.
Oh, okay,
So
both of you.
um,
Okay.
someone posted in a Facebook group that we um that they were looking for writers, and we both answered the call and worked on
Oh,
the project for a couple months, and then my life got way too busy and I bowed out. I don't know if she's still doing it,
I
but
don't think so. I think she mentioned that one off air that she was not still doing it.
oh, okay, cool.
I think.
Yeah, we oh, we're still live. I can't. I'm not gonna talk shit about it while we're still live.
Yeah, we're
Uh,
live. It just didn't work
Hi,
out.
everybody. What?
It just didn't work out, as things don't usually in
No.
show business.
Yeah, they're still writing, and it's a great project. It just wasn't panning out the way like it could have. So, you know,
What a surprise.
yeah, it happens. Can you
Comedy
hear us?
more often.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Sweet.
We
Yes,
can
we
hear
can.
each
Yes.
other. Okay, there we go.
Yes.
So Frank just asked about how answered the call for the Facebook for the project, and
Hmm.
I almost went into like gossip mode, and I'm like, "Ooh, we're on Facebook Live. I can't."
Yeah. So that was interesting. So did you? It was in the Facebook group, right?
Yeah.
So it was in the Facebook. It was like a very elegant post, like, "Hey, who wants to work on this Netflix thing?" And it was like, "What? Who doesn't want to work on a Netflix show?" So me myself, I responded, "I would like to work on a Netflix show."
Hmm.
And so then she like asked for a writing sample. So I sent her a writing sample and she was like, "Love it." And
Right.
then we were in a writing group together. Yep.
And and then that was all she wrote.
And that was
It was
literally all she wrote.
Yeah, literally
oh
all she wrote. Yeah.
She did not write anything else. That was literally
wow.
all she wrote.
So, Kels, what stand up the end game for you, or sitcom writing, or late night writing? What's your end game?
Um, Whatever pays the most the fastest. No, just kidding. Um, In game, I kind of want to be a little bit of a jack of all trades. I definitely want to write. I do like writing. I kind of do like being behind the scenes. I don't necessarily have to be in front of the scenes,
Right.
although I don't mind like being on a sitcom. That is something that I feel like is totally in my lane. Stand up, I either want to do stand up for a little while longer and retire, or be the next female Dave Chappelle. I don't know which one I
Oh
want to do
wow.
yet. Yeah, I don't know which one I want to do yet.
I
Um,
want to be the next female Richard Pryor. So I'm thinking,
I am too like I am too, I don't know what the adjective I want to use there is, but to just stand on stage for like several minutes and just like curse and like say like filthy things. I do kind of want to do that, but I'm like, it's not, I'm too scary to do it. Like I hear other comedians and they're like, let's talk about sex and say bad words. And I'm like, oh, my mom's in the crowd.
oh,
Oh.
my mom used to. So this is a funny story. Like growing up, my mom hated cursing, and whenever we'd be watching something on TV where they were saying a lot of dropping a lot of f bombs,
Mm.
my mom would go. Pretty soon, it started to sound like a sprinkler.
The first time, so my mom was at the first stand up, and so again, like this night, it was like 30 comedians on that night, and
Right.
literally 25 of them had dicks in like in their set or about their set or like something. And so like afterwards, I text my mom like, "Thanks for coming. Sorry about all the sex talk." And she was like, "It wasn't so much the sex; it was all the dicks." And I was like, "Oh, my poor mom."
It
Yeah,
was all the dicks.
my friend Zara Khan, who does mics in Orange County in L.A. She got up like in one of those shows with 30 people. She
Hmm.
got up like number 26,
Oh.
and it was mostly guys before her, and each one as you talked about, you know, penis, and her opening line was, I don't think I've got much to talk about because I don't have a penis, and the audience went crazy because it'd been very obvious that's pretty much all the guys talked about.
Yeah, I've never. It's such a phenomenon. Like until like I started stand up comedy, I didn't know that that was like such a driving force of comedy.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yep. Yeah, it's very easy to laugh. It's much harder to write clean material.
Yeah,
Much
and I
harder.
don't
I
like.
get it. It's a pun.
I
Sorry.
knew. I'll be up all
Good.
week.
Thanks, Viagra.
So, do you have siblings? Do you have brothers and sisters, Kels?
I do. I have a little sister. She is a little Rolling Stone. She's in Seabrook, Texas right now. She writes music and she does like she helps businesses with their startup, like get incorporated and like things like that. So she's a little entrepreneur. It's
Oh,
just the two of us.
Oh, okay. And I had a question for you. Entrepreneur, little sister. I can't remember what I was going to ask you. Something. The Go ahead, Mike. I'll think of it.
all right. I just wanted to give you your space. I know you've been through a lot lately, Frank. So I
Oh,
want to.
that's it. Been through a lot. You said you had blocked your ex from every form of communication, Kels. It was an ugly breakup.
It wasn't even an ugly breakup. It was just like you didn't understand the breakup. Like once you break up with someone, it's like, oh, that usually means I don't really want to talk to you. So why would you keep trying to talk to me? Like I don't just like I don't enjoy interacting with you. Please stop interacting with me. I'm trying to interact with other penises. So
Yeah,
yeah.
See, dicks are a thing.
There it's a thing. It is a thing.
yeah. Yeah, and I
So
learned that
no.
actually in junior high school because my girlfriend broke up with me, and then I, tried to communicate after that, and she goes, "Listen, did I miss something? Didn't we, I don't know, break up?"
Yeah. And it was
Some,
just like it wasn't healthy because you can't once you're like in a role, it's hard to like change into like I don't believe that whole after you break up we can be friends thing because like you're not used to interacting in that manner.
yep,
So
I I think for my closest relationships that I've had, I've always wanted to be friends with the person. It hasn't always happened, but just because like I dated them because I liked them. And just
Yeah,
because they're a raving lunatic doesn't mean my concern for them goes out the window. It just means I don't want to bump nasties with them anymore. That's all it is.
I get
Nothing
that.
personal.
Yeah, nothing personal. No shade to you being a raving lunatic. I mean,
No,
usually
we all got issues.
we do. We all have issues. It's just, I don't know. I think like I have an issue limit. Like once it's like a never ending list of issues, then I'm like, I want to opt out of this no
I
longer.
had an ex-girlfriend who like seriously we well I should probably not tell this story, but I will. So we had sex once when she was on her period, and like when I was done, I stood up and I grabbed the wall. There were bloodstains all over it.
Oh God, Mike.
It looked like a crime scene, like Law and Order SVU crime
Oh
scene.
God, oh Lord.
Oh my gosh. That's
Kels, I'm
horrible.
sorry. It's horrible.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's fine. It also
Was that too
happens.
much? I just realized, like,
No,
you're a comic, it's okay.
it's fine. No, I've heard much worse.
So, do you have
Um,
somebody in your life right now, Kels? Do you have a love right now?
Nope.
Okay.
Just kind of
aw,
hanging. No, it's not an all thing. Like
okay,
everyone,
yay.
it's kind of like a stress-free thing.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, so it's cool.
You know, one of the, you were talking before about who you want to be like a female um, Dave Chappelle,
Hmm.
right? Well, I got one of the best compliments from a comic friend of mine who I once went up on stage. Had this workout spot at a club where for a month they would give me 15 minutes just to do anything I wanted to do.
Oh
It was
wow.
really sweet. And the last week of that, I talked about I'm HIV positive, and I talked about that diagnosis and how that affected me, and I tried to make it as funny as possible. And he reached out to me through Facebook and said, you know, that was some of the realest talk I've heard. That was You reminded me of Richard Pryor. I haven't seen somebody
Oh,
be that
Oh wow.
honest. I was like, wow, I will take that compliment
Yes,
yeah, no
and
kidding.
run to the bank with it. It won't give me any money, but it's a great compliment.
It is a great
that is an
compliment.
awesome compliment. I think the best compliment that I've gotten from a comic so far was, and I quote, "You don't look like you're going to be funny, but you are." So
Isn't
not
it
quite Richard
funny?
Pryor.
Isn't
Isn't
it
that sort of
funny
like
how
isn't
can
that sort of
rip us
like
down?
you don't isn't that sort of like you don't sweat much for a fat guy? I mean, is it kind
I
of a
mean, I was
backhanded?
also like, I do look like this, like, I don't know. I'm going to come and tell you, like, what your next meeting is or something. It's not like it's like, oh yes, that's sort of gonna be funny. So and like I had a cardigan on. So I get it. Like, but then I was like, thank you. I'm funny.
Actually,
So
my best was I was the improv on Melrose in L.A. and I was emceeing. It was a clean show, and that lasted first comic, I think.
Ah,
And I did 12 minutes clean, and actually was able to do it in 8 because there was no laughter or applause. And Jonathan Winters was in the audience, and he came up
holy
to me
shit.
after all was said and done. He goes, "Listen, I think you're funny."
that's
So that
cool.
Oh,
that that took the sting out of the evening.
That's dope.
but Patrice O'Neill called me the Beyonce Knowles of the Short Bus Comedy Tour. So
That is a compliment.
I am
That is
bootylicious.
like for your comedy. That's awesome.
So
So
next show, Kels, where is your next Zoom show, live show? What?
Um, it's not gonna be until next month. I'm not sure. Right now, I'm going to a few of my comedy friends' show to like get inspired. To be honest with you, I was so nonchalant about the whole like coronavirus thing that the reverse happened to me. Then I was like, oh my God, I can't go outside. I can't literally look at another person or I'm gonna catch this. So now I'm like, oh no, it's okay. I can go outside. I can put a mask on. So like I'm getting back in the groove of things.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Uh, do you struggle with any mental health issues?
Hmm. Do I that I know of? No.
Ah,
If I went and asked a professional,
Ah,
look,
okay.
I am a professional. Let's schedule some time.
Yeah, Mike's a therapist. You know, he's got his master's. Come on.
I mean, hey, if you've got the time, I've got the,
No,
I've
because
got.
I'm thinking I'm creating this program where comedians give presentations to mental health providers about their struggles, and I think you would be a perfect presenter.
Okay.
So I'm trying to see if you got anything that you could talk about.
I mean, I don't like for my food to touch. I got listen. If you've got time,
My sister
I've
is
got a
the
lot of
same
little
way.
quirks.
My sister is the same way. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Like I'm one of those people like, ugh, that's not an even number. Ugh. Like I'm not all the way OCD, but it's like, ugh, it
She,
bothers me.
she hates the number five.
Yeah, it's like really irrelevant. Be 4 or 6. Like, what is this 5 about? Like,
Yeah,
I
five's
get
an
it.
ugly number. Five is an ugly
It's
number.
just, I mean, look at the shape of it. It's like, what are you doing here? Like, you could just be 4 or you could be 6.
It's like an eight with a fear commitment.
That's exactly what it is. And who wants something that has a fear of commitment? Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so great to have you on the show. Where
Thank
can
you.
people find you?
Yeah.
Um,
Website, Instagram, where?
uh,
Oh my
Instagram,
God.
Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, Jesus, TikTokers for you guys who do that. All of it is at Kells the Comic, and that's KELLSTHAKOMIC. Um, Everywhere you type that in, and I will pop up in some form of fashion.
So when you came up with the name
Mm.
Kells the Comic, you didn't have spell check, I guess.
The thing about it is, so with the whole thing with the name, I did want you to be like, okay, that's Kells, but also, my best friend, she told me with your name being spelled Mikkel, that does make people like pay attention to it. So I
Yeah.
kind of wanted something to like make people like pay attention to it. That way, like I know you're here because you spelled it right. Like, oh, okay, you looked at it. I can tell
I
you did,
did
even if
look
it's
at
not.
it and I
I
had to
did
go
look at it.
back and change it. I was like, ooh, I fucked up. Let me go. Switch this.
But no, it's that that's just me being a jokester at heart. Like, if is this person gonna spell it right? I literally go to Starbucks and when they say, "What's your name?" I go, "Mikkel," and then just stare at them because I know you're gonna mess it up. Like, I
Well,
know you're not gonna spell it right.
that's not a big deal to me because that's a white people's Michaela. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, I get that all the time, Michaela. Oh, oh, I get it all the time.
You should be like, I'm not Hispanic. It's Mikel.
Yeah.
Because
I
my
mean,
sister's name is Danielle and my grandparents called her Daniela.
Daniela. Oh,
So I'm
I
sorry,
don't
I
know.
interrupted Frank. The
No,
coffee's
no, no.
kicking.
No, I wasn't. I was just nodding my head.
Well, guys,
Oh,
I really am flattered to even be asked to be in your podcast. I think it's dope.
Oh,
when
you're
when
all
we
welcome.
when we connected in that writing group, I'm like, I need to have her on. So
Totally. I'm like, trauma. I've got a lot of trauma. How many hours do you have?
thank you so much for stopping by. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes,
Don't
you enjoyed.
don't hang
Go ahead.
up.
Okay.
Don't
So
don't
just
hang up.
Just stay there. I'm gonna take you off screen. We're gonna come back and talk to you offline. All
Okay.
right.
Bye, Kels.
So Frank, thank you so much. I'm gonna end this broadcast and we're gonna be out. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Cross your fingers. I got a house to go back to.